G-Shock watches my channel and they read your comments and they have designed a watch tailored just for us. I'm excited about this. I'm sure you are too. It is two brand new watches that someone has spilled the beans on. The GA-010 and the GD-010. Let's zoom in here on this picture. You'll see what I'm talking about. This is the analog GA-010. It looks a lot like the GA-700, but a little bit updated, some design updates. And this is the GD-010, which looks a lot like the Casio AE-1500, but updated, okay? Now, why do I think that they designed these for us? There's no Bluetooth on this watch, okay? And we've complained about Bluetooth so much, like multi-band 6 problems on the GWG B1000 and Bluetooth. That video, I was in the backyard ranting. All you guys are ranting in the comments. That why can't Casio just make a G-Shock that's just a basic watch, one that you take out of the you take out of the box, you put on your wrist, it tells the time. Why do you need to make all these watches with Bluetooth that have unnecessary features that you have to use your email address, sign up for an account, agree to terms of service, and then sync it up with your watch? That's all a bunch of malarkey, excuse my language, but they're going back to basics here, okay? And even the name, I believe, is supposed to imply that this is a basic watch. GD-010. G meaning G-Shock, D meaning digital, 010. It's just simple, binary numbers, 3 digits for the number, and GA. G meaning G-Shock, A meaning analog, 010. Again, very basic. And look at these watches, highly legible. And the digital watch has giant numerals. These are exactly the things that we were talking about. And how about my video, I'm Sad Too? This was a response to Greg Anderson's video, I'm Sad, or I'm a little bit sad. I forget exactly what the title was, but Greg Anderson and me and a lot of us were saying, we just want basic G-Shock watches. I mean, if they really want to go off onto these smart watches, semi-smart watches, they can. I mean, I've bought a few of them. I bought a fitness watch, the GPDH 2000, and I've lost a lot of weight. I found it to be very helpful, but I find a lot of enjoyment from just basic watches, and this is the GA-2100 BCE that I am wearing, and so far I'm liking it a lot. Very comfortable and fits well. Anyways, where I found out about this was the CasioFanMag, okay? And so someone leaked information to another website, which I believe is their sister website in Eastern Europe, called CasioBlog.com. And, it's in a foreign language. So I guess I said they spilled the beans. I don't know if they eat beans over there. They spilled the borscht on this one, all right? So anyways, the English language blog called CasioFanMag already has 6 of these models in their database, all right? And has access to all of these leaked images from Casio G-Shock, okay? So it's highly likely that the final product will match these rumors, okay? I think that these are pretty valid rumors, and obviously, I have no way to know if this information is 100% accurate, okay? But we're going to critique what's been leaked, okay? We're going to dip into this borscht and have a look, because I'm excited to have this basic G-Shock watch. And let me just tell you the first impressions from this leak. All right, let's look at the GA-010. My first impression is this is just like the GA-700. Obviously, there's some design updates, but the legibility is fantastic, okay? Because this LCD screen, and this is an Ani-Digi watch, the LCD screen has big bold digits and letters for the day of the week. And they're pretty big, okay? It's not like on the GA-2100 series where the LCD is pretty small, okay? The GA-010 has an LCD screen a lot more similar to the GA-700 in that it is big, bold, and beautiful, right? Now the hands are small on this the GA-010, but they are contrasting colors, okay? So the first impression is positive. Now let's look at, this is the GD-010, the digital one, okay? And you guys know my rant about how I walked into Walmart and looked at their watches and went to the Casio section and I found the AE-1500 and I was like, wow, Casio can make a watch with big numbers. I didn't think it was possible because I had, other watches like the King, where it's a huge watch with tiny numbers, and now it needs some more sun. But believe me, the numbers on this are very small. And so when the AE-1500 came out, I was amazed. I was like, this is huge numbers that you could read across the room. And I think that's fantastic that G-Shock did that, or excuse me, that Casio did that, but it's infuriating that they haven't carried this over to their G-Shock line, right? And I made a number of rant videos about this, getting very worked up. And I would get worked up about it right now, except that I am at the man camp, the Oilfield Man Camp, and I believe that Philip is a couple of rooms over, and I don't want to disturb him. He may be working nights and trying to sleep. So I'm trying not to get worked up, but there's no guarantees at all. And by the way, I'm fishing through my bag. Actually, everything just fell out. Might as well pour it out. My G-Shock bag. It cost $2.50. I did not intend to order it, but I stash all my G-Shocks in there, and it's kind of coming apart at the seams. Might need to upgrade. Stay tuned. I found an upgrade that uses G-Shock points, of which I have plenty. I am G-Shock rich, not to brag, just telling you the truth. Okay, so I may buy a new receptacle for all these G-Shocks, but stay tuned. Anyways, this is the Mudman GW9500, my favorite, all right? And look at big numbers, right? So finally, G-Shock carries over big, beautiful numbers to their G-Shock line. Except that this watch is $380 retail. I think it's worth every penny, and I believe you can get it for cheaper. It's like you can find it for less. I paid full retail because I bought it right away, and I'm happy that I did. It is so rugged and durable. This is like a fantastic G-Shock experience in my opinion. The Mudman GW9500, right? But again, pretty expensive. Now, according to these websites that I mentioned, in this particular one being CasioFanMag, who spilled the beans, I mean Borscht, it's supposed to be, like I think $100, $120. We'll read the article. But that's affordable. That's like, to get into the G-Shock line, you got to spend at least $100 retail. That's where they come in at. And of course, Walmart used to sell, the ones that were like $80, sometimes $60. But, you can't find the G-Shocks at the Walmart anymore. They took them out. So this is an inexpensive, easy to read digital screen on a G-Shock, right? Obviously we're going to have to get it in our hands and test it. I Lord willing, I'll buy this one, this GD-010. I don't know if I'll buy the GA-010. Maybe if my brother wants it, I'll be like, hey, I'll buy it. Just let me review it. I won't tough test it for you, buddy, but then I'll hand it off to you, because he was mentioning that he wanted an Ani-Digi. Anyways, GD-010 is like looks like to me like a beefed up AE-1500 or a toned down Mudman. So let me get both of them up. And for those watching, you can see. For those listening, and remember, this is a podcast. This is the Beater Watch vlog and the Beater Watch pod. And by the way, just a little preview. We have the Beater Watch blog now. I'll talk more about that in a second. But anyways, back to this. All right. So look at the GD-010, you see a watch with big numerals, and you have very thick and robust bumpers. The whole bezel system looks to be highly robust. You have the protrusions, which I call crenellations. It's like the on a castle turret, the top, and this bezel protects the screen. Okay, and so look at the AE 1500. Similar idea, okay, and the Mudman GW 9500, and you can see that these all follow very similar design philosophies. And just right now, I noticed that the GD-010 does not have the screws, okay? The AE 1500, which came first of all three of these, has fake screws in the corners. They're just decorations. I believe the Mudman screws are functional to hold down the bezel, but they dropped the whole screw idea. You know, screw the screws. That's what they said over there in Japan, all right? And it's a good idea because these screws actually on the Mudman actually scratched up my Rangeman because I was smashing them into each other to see which one was tougher. You know, that's the kind of abuse that we put our watches through to test them here at the Beater Watch Vlog. And, you know, my name is kind of like synonymous with G-Shock abuse. When people think of Jim Kinkade, they think of a guy who really puts his G-Shock watches through the ringer. But that's fine. I'll live with that reputation because I can tell you that I'm really impressed with how the Mudman GW 9500 stood up to all that. Will this new GD-010 stand up? There's only one way to find out. Stay tuned. All right? And so we also have a green GD-010. And this is a really great green color, okay? And when you see the green color, I think of, you know, the Rangeman GW 9400, okay, which I guess is the first generation Rangeman, had a really nice green strap and bezel, but the screen was negative. And just so you guys know, a lot of you already know this, but negative LCD screens on Casios are horrible. They're just a headache. Although I did have one commenter this morning say that he actually likes his Mudman in negative, so I might have to do a little more research on that. But I had the King. This is the GWX56BB, and again, it needs more sun. It's dead, but the negative screen was very difficult to read, and you can see I made so many videos about that. Even on my Amazon review of the watch, I complained about that. So I'm glad that they have a green watch where they ditched the negative screen. They have the positive LCD screen. I think it looks good. In this rendering, it looks great because the gray color of an LCD screen naturally looks really nice by the color green. Okay, and there's also some of this lime green yellow accent here on the GD-010. Oh, and one other thing before we look at the third color of the GD-010, I just want to say that the digital screen on the GD-010 is designed much better. It has some additional like lines to kind of separate everything out on the screen. It's kind of like when you make an Excel spreadsheet. Sometimes you have to add a bunch of borders to make your spreadsheet quicker to read and easier to find information. The screen on the Mudman GW 9500 is a little too minimalistic. It just appears to be really washed out, and like the information's there, but sometimes it's like you kind of like have to remind yourself what you're looking at, because they took out some of like the background colors and stuff that keeps the information organized. Well, they added those back in on the GD-010. Okay, when I say taken out, what they took it out from was their ProTrack line of watches. This module on the Mudman was kind of adapted from Casio ProTrack. All right, and that screen, their screens have more colors and more like lines on the screen. All right, now here's the red one, and it's kind of red orangish. It almost looks like my Yeti, and this Yeti is king crab orange. We found out. Well, it looks like it's getting a little dirty. I bring this everywhere. I love it. Splash proof. You just have to put this lid down. Look, I'm holding it over my ThinkPad. Not that it would matter if it's spilled, but see how it's not spilling. Anyways, this red-orange color has a negative screen. So they did have a negative screen on one of the GD-010s. However, I'm not flipping out about it. Okay, I am not flipping out about it. And the reason being, because the numbers are so thick that it allows light to go through. Okay, the thick numbers on a negative LCD are okay because they're legible. All right, on a regular LCD screen, the numbers cast the shadow, right, on the reflective surface on the back, right. On the negative screen, the numbers are what let light through. So if you have skinny numbers, unless you're looking at the watch dead on, it's going to be difficult to read a negative screen. But the thick numbers, the thick segments on the numbers of the GD-010 make it better in a negative arrangement. And so this red one, it's very tempting. I might buy it, and I think that it would, like, at Casio G-Shock, they'd be like, what's going on? We made Jim the ideal watch for him, right? And we made a positive LCD screen, and the guy went and bought the negative LCD screen. I can't believe it. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing that. I'm thinking it would be like a great prank to play on G-Shock. But they made this one for you guys too. So you have to let me know what you think, because, you know, put in the comments, because they read them. This is proof right here, you know. Let me know what you think so far and whether you will purchase any one of these, all right? Like, I like the black. I'll probably get the black one. And the reason being is that when you want to compare watches, you want to take out the color variation, okay? So that you can, like, just evaluate the watch intrinsically on the watch and not what feeling the color elicits, all right? I got made fun of for buying this orange Yeti. I think it was Turd Ferguson saying I was like a chick, impulse buying an expensive Yeti just because it was orange. And that might be true, all right? And I think that, you know, if you choose like the color orange, I think, my wife said it's a sign of creativity. It may be a sign of insanity. I don't know. But this red-orange color is undeniably cool, all right? And like everything that you're attracted to and you like, sometimes it takes a minute to kind of analyze why that might be. And maybe there's some like toy from my childhood back in the 80s that was this orange color, and this watch reminds me of it. I don't know. But anyways, the analog digital has 3 different bezel colors. They have the black color, and they have this tan color, this desert tan color. And this is, remember that video we made where I was ranting about how why can't Casio make tactical colors, right? Like the Garmin Instinct Solar 2X has a tactical color variation. And I'm going to make another video coming up, and Sniper King is going to want to watch this one because they designed one for Sniper King. It's a king. You know, they bring back the king and the tactical colors. I saw some photos of that on the same blog, all right? So we'll make another video about that one. But for this one, the GA-010, I'm happy to see this desert color. And that desert color is really popular where I live. I'm in West Texas, and out in public, I see a lot of people wearing the tactical colors, you know, like the desert camo or the coyote colors on their G-Shock watches, right? My buddy Adam has, I don't know if it's a Rangeman or something similar to a Rangeman that is that color, all right? And then we also have this blue color. It's kind of like, you know, like deodorant can blue, all right? You guys think I'm joking? I'm thinking about going over here and finding this can of deodorant. It's like you know, like a corporate color blue. It's not. It's, well, teal. I don't know. It's like in the 90s, like back in the 90s when the internet was new, I actually designed a bunch of websites back when, like in HTML, and it was pretty cool back then. Like you could design websites, you know, pretty easily and make some decent money. That's what I did in the summer. And there was one like engineering consulting firm where they're like, all right, we need. I was like, we're gonna have to have colors on this website, and they're like, oh, we have to like find the most popular color on the Forbes was it the Forbes 500 list, and it's like this Hewlett Packard blue color, which is like this watch, right? And so of the Ani-Digi watches, very similar to the new Gravity Master in terms of how legible it is. So I may not buy the Ani-Digi, like I said, unless my brother wants it. I won't be buying it for myself. Probably will buy the Gravity Master. If I have enough room in my budget and enough time, I want to test it out. I want to see how it fits, you know, its legibility, its durability, and also maybe take it up for a flight, like test the flight capabilities. I know a bunch of guys who have aircraft, you know, so I may ask them to tag along. I don't know if I'll weigh down the aircraft too much, but you know, it would be cool to see that functionality in the Gravity Master, okay? But for these watches we're looking at, the functionality is basic, and that's what I like about the watch. The functionality is, you know, you get the time, stopwatch, timer. So you guys can read the article, CasioFanMag.com. They're the ones who I believe broke this news. I'm not 100% sure about that. But they also make note that the LCD screen is the STN LCD. So this regular LCDs can be difficult to read. STN is a technology in the LCD screens that make them more legible. Okay, makes the viewing angles better and the darker parts darker. So you know, and when the STN LCD is negative, it's more legible, and overall the STN LCD is superior. So I am happy about that. All right. And one other thing they notice is that on the Ani-Digi there's only one backlight, which is an LED that casts the light on the entire face of the watch. The LCD portion of the Ani-Digi does not have a backlight, according to this website. All right, and just for reference, this watch, which is the GA-010 CTE. See how when I press the light button, there is the LED that will shine on the hands, and that LCD screen lights up. It's very bright. It's too bright. I made a short about this where I was pressing the light button, and on YouTube Shorts, like, you can pick the background music, and so there was like this classic rock song called "Blinded by the Light," and it's like a catchy tune, and like they'd play it a lot on the classic rock station, and my bus driver Dave would play the classic rock station, and so, you know, I don't know, I kind of like the song. I think I don't know what it's about exactly. You know, it's from the 70s, so it's probably about some like psychedelic trip or whatever. But you know, before the internet, would be like, what are the lyrics to this song? Like, what's he saying? Blinded by the light, revved up, like what? And nobody knew. And you can imagine what we thought that they were singing. Anyways, I used that song as the background for the GA-010 CT-5A, because this backlight is pretty bright. You know, if you're rolling over the bed at night and you hit the light button, it's bright. How bright is this GA-010? I don't know. But let's look at these sketches. And this is promotional material purported to be from Casio G-Shock. And again, I can't validate any of this information. I'm just kind of relaying these rumors. I'm just relaying rumors, okay? I guess I'm a gossip. So this sketch, you can see what the designers are trying to highlight in the design, okay? And they're calling this new, rugged, basic, okay? That's great. It's exactly what I want in a G-Shock watch, all right? And a little bit thicker. it looks like in these sketches, this is a thicker watch. They're going thicker. It's not as thin as the GA-2100 series. That's for dadgum sure. It's a lot thicker. It's more like the GA-700 and that level of thickness. And that thickness is meant to protect the watch. People don't understand that. They think it's just decoration or just design. Like G-Shock just, for fun likes to make big, thick watches. The thickness is protection, all right? And by the way, that's one of the reasons why I really like the Mudman GW9500. It's not too thick. It's manageable in terms of thickness, right? It's a good optimization of size and toughness, but the 2100 series is very thin. I believe it's the thinnest G-Shock watch, although in Europe they released a thinner one. So going back to the sketch, this sketch has, a black and white sketch, and there's 3 different pictures. In each different picture, a different part is colored in orange. And so it makes note of a front button guard, okay? And so watches that have a front button, and as an example of a front button, I will use the brand new Casio watch that I bought and I'm still testing, the WSB-1000. It's a step counting watch. Right now it's in power saving mode, but see, there's a front button. And this front button, like if you see how I'm pressing it. I'm not trying to. I'm just kind of like moving my hand down the face of the watch. And so the front button can be easy to press on account of the fact that you're going to be bumping into stuff while wearing a watch, okay? Now, if you don't have solar charging and the front button is the illumination, then you could quickly wear down your battery, okay? So this series, both of these, the digital version and the analog, have raised portions in front of the front button to protect it from accidental button pressing. And I have to make mention of the Mudman. Some of you guys are going to roll your eyes. Why do I always have to bring up the Mudman? Well, the Mudman, the front button is protected by this metal cylinder, and it's angled at a pretty peculiar angle. It makes it kind of awkward to press, but it also prevents accidental button presses. And it's a solar charging watch, so you may be wondering, why would you really need to prevent accidental button pressing of the light? For tactical reasons, okay? You don't want to accidentally give away your position in some type of scenario, let's just say. You don't want to be spotted, all right? Like if you're playing pranks on Halloween or something, I don't know. And so the second sketch makes note of the button guards that protect the side buttons from accidental pressing, and they're raised up, but the buttons are nice and big. All right, they're big plastic buttons. This is a regular Casio watch, which has big plastic buttons, but the buttons protrude, and so it's easy to accidentally press them, and you'll be changing what mode you're in, and you'll quickly look down your watch thinking you're looking at the time, but you're actually looking at the time in New Mexico because you switched to world time, and that's confusing. It's good to have bumpers. Now let's talk about the bezel. This sketch makes note of the wide face and guard bumper, all right? So people really need to understand this, because these bumps on a G-Shock, which I call crenellations, reminds me of a castle turret. The raised part of a bezel protects the screen, right? And so you'd be like, well, why not just have a bezel go all the way around? Well, I used to wonder that too. And when I got the King, one thing I noticed is that when it got real dirty, the filth would pool up in the watch. And I was like, oh man, they should just carve out a drain in each corner. And then it was like a gong went off in my head. An epiphany. That's exactly what the raised and lowered portions are of a G-Shock bezel. Is that it's a drain, all right? And the Mad Watch Collector called them futuristic barnacles on his Mudman, which he didn't like. But the Mudman's my favorite watch. And so there's also a photographic diagram of the sections of the watch. So you have the inner case, which I do not know if it's carbon core. I don't think it is, based on the fact that it's big and that the watch is said to be pretty inexpensive. All right, but I don't know. There's a case and there's the bezel, which looks like it's softer plastic than the case. And based on this illustration, I would say that it attaches to, the bezel attaches to the case via the screws that hold the strap to the lug. And it looks like there's 2 screws on the side. So they've moved the screws from the top of the bezel to the side. And I think that's good. Like I said, my Mudman has scratched up a lot of things, including the Rangeman, because these screws in the corners kind of stand proud of the bezel, and they, on the Mohs scale of hardness, you know where steel is. It's way up there. It scratches a lot. Some mysterious scratches on the side of Shane's Dodge Ram pickup that are exactly the height where my left hand would be if I was like briskly walking by and accidentally dinged the his truck. I don't know how that happened, but whew. All right. Oh, and the back of the watch is screwed in on 4 corners, just like a regular Casio, just like the AE1500, in fact. You get the 4 screws in the corner holding the back plate on, and it's metal. All right, 10-year battery. So no solar charging, all right? But to keep the cost down, there's no solar charging, but they threw in a 10-year battery. And really, 10 years, when you buy this now, in 2024, we're talking about in 2034, all right? I'm going to be 54 then. I'm probably going to be a grandpa, most likely. So, I mean, will I still be wearing the GD-010? I mean, it should, hopefully it should survive that long as a G-Shock, and maybe it'd be funny if the battery lasted and made it last for 10 years. I'm someone who presses the like button a lot, so the probably wouldn't last 10 years for me, but I don't know. It's tough to say. But that's a good thing. I mean, there are some watches that on G-Shock, like the GD, I think it's a GD-010. I was like, oh, this watch looks pretty cool. I like the design. And it says it has a 2-year battery. And I'm like, that's pretty ridiculous. I mean, if I use the light a lot, like if you work on the night shift, you're going to have to use the light a lot. And, you know, I'm driving really early in the morning or late at night. And, you know, I'm someone who uses the light a lot. So a 2-year battery would be why would you want to buy, you know, a $200 watch and the battery only lasts a couple of years? It's kind of a pain. I mean, I would enjoy replacing the battery because I like doing stuff like that. But the problem is not actually changing the battery. It's just that you know it's gonna go wear down at the most inopportune time. You know, when it's not convenient to change the battery. In 10 years, I think that a lot of people who buy this watch will probably move on to another watch before the battery is diminished. All right, so on the Ani-Digi, it has a new rugged basic, all right? And the hour markers and the plastic dial and the dial cover are 3D. There's a lot of depth, okay? And that's good, all right? Now, when you look at a watch like the GA-2100 CT, all right? The whole watch face is very muted. It's like a mushroom brown colored watch. Well, the face is also like a brown color, maybe a little bit darker. And the indices are brown. And G-Shock does this a lot, and like people are ripping out their hair. Like, why are you making these watch faces that have very muted colors? There's no contrast. And it's even worse on the GA-2100 BCE. It's like a black watch with a black face and black hour markers. And the hands are like, they aren't white. They're like gray. They're like light black, right? And so I don't know why they do this. And one of the rants that we've gone ranting about, I've ranted as the host on this channel, and you've ranted in the comments, is like, where's the legibility? Can we please get some contrasting colors? Well, they have the contrasting colors on the GA-010, but they also have that 3D, okay? And I didn't realize this till I got the GA-2100s, but you can still like read the watch based on the shadows and depth of the 3D indices, you know, the hour markers and everything. It wouldn't be as easy as if they were brightly colored, but you can still do it. And so this GA-010 is both. It has both the 3D features, the three-dimensional features, and the contrasting colors. It's the best of both worlds. And you know for daggum sure eventually they're going to have an iteration of the GA-010 where it's like the black watch with the black indices and the black hands. But it's manageable when you have big, thick, three-dimensional hour markers. All right, and so, okay, there's like metal inside of the watch. I think that's... Okay, so here's the GA-010 illuminated, and this is, I believe, what this blog was talking about, that notice how the LCD screen does not illuminate on the Ani-Digi GA-010. The LED just shines on the face, so you're stuck having to read the just the hands, all right? And by the way, the lume on this GA-2100 is like been kind of impressive for me, and I'm not like a lume fiend like some of you guys are, and I don't have experience with a watch with good lume, but I would say that this is better than expected on the GA-2100 BCE. However, the only other watch with lume, I have this Bertucci with lume. It excuse me, it fades, and also this MWQ-100. This lume is a joke, but it's just a Casio. It's snazzy, but it's Casio. All right. And so there's one final picture where of the Ani-Digis, and it looks like that, you know, they have the black Ani-Digi on top of coal. So are you a coal miner? All right, I know some of you are, because, you know, you can tell, you know, like what state everybody watches videos in. It's like, you know, guys from West Virginia and Kentucky watching. You know, this could be a good watch for a coal miner. And the blue watch is like, has ocean water behind it. So, you know, are you a sailor? Are you in the what do they call it? Merchant Marines. All right, here's a good rugged watch, and it's ocean colored, like. And then you know, they have the desert, and in the background they have Caprock Canyon, where, you know, we go hiking, right? So I may need to get this just to go hiking next time at Caprock Canyon. Actually, my most recent video, we went hiking at Polodoro Canyon, and that's like, it looks exactly like the background in this picture. So just so you know who they're targeting it to, we're at the point now where we're targeted individuals here, but we're targeted in a good way. Casio G-Shock is targeting us with watches that we want, right? See, it pays to jump in the comments and complain and say exactly what you want. And I know what you guys want. I know that, like, your dream, and it's the same as my dream, right? An MIP G-Shock watch, solar charging, that charges the entire watch, and no accoutrements, just the time, stopwatch, let it go on forever like the Mudman, timer, at least 24-hour timer, please. No more of these joke 60-minute timers, and a second time zone, and alarms. Just this. That's what we want. I mean, we're not asking for step counters and heart rate monitors, you know. And all right, so G Central also covered this watch a little bit, and he made note of the LED light and its similarity with the GA-700, and he also mention some of the other G-Shock watches which have the 10-year battery. So I guess the 10-year battery is not as common as just on the Casio watches. It seems like a lot of Casio watches have the 10-year battery. All right, so check out his blog, and don't forget about my new blog, jimkinkade.blogspot.com. All right, the Beater Watch blog. G-Shock news, reviews, and abuse. I guess that doesn't really rhyme. You have to say it better. G-Shock news, reviews, and abuse. Beater Watch blog with Jim Kinkade. And so, it's Blogger. You guys remember Blogger? Blogger is older than... Blogger is really old. I believe that somewhere there's like... I probably have some orphaned blogs on Blogger from before I even had Gmail, before even Gmail existed. So I don't know how to get into them, but they exist somewhere. I have to find them again. But I went with a Blogger platform because it ties in right in with YouTube. Google bought Blogger. The way that I remembered Blogger is that, like, when you go onto YouTube, right? I'm not signed in here, but if you were signed in and you go in the top right corner, like, you can go to your Google account, and it's like there's like this where you press, there's like like a checkerboard of 6 squares, and when you press it, it's like all of the apps that Google has, you know, their Office suite and everything. And I was looking through it, and the one was Blogger, and I'm like, oh, no kidding, Blogger. And I clicked on it, and I was like, you know what? I need like an old-fashioned blog, not like this WordPress blog. Like what is a blog? It's a web log, right? Every day you just check in and you write whatever. It's, you know, if you want to treat it like a diary or for it to be topical. But I don't want, you know, like all these like stuff popping up. When stuff pops up, it just drives me crazy. Like even on G-Shock. Let's see. If you go to G-Shock, I don't think I have G-Shock pulled up. Let's just go to G-Shock. So gshock.casio.com. All right. So here's a website, and you know, there's like a lot to scroll through. So you scroll down, right? And when you start to scroll up, you're like, you know what? I intend to exit this. There's a pop-up, and it's funny, it's not doing it now, but it does it like every other time. And it's like, before you go, sign up for our mailing list. And it's like, I came to the site following a link from an email you sent me, and now you don't know that I'm already on your mailing list. And you think, oh, I guess they're not that sophisticated with their mailing list. But then I get like a text from G-Shock. It's like, oh, we saw you looking at this new NASA watch. Are you interested in buying it? And it's like, all right, so you are tracking me. Can you please turn off that annoying pop-up asking to join the mailing list? Oh, you can't even buy this NASA watch. Look, it says enter contest. Ooh, all right, so here's a pop. Oh, there it is. All right. I got 2 pop-ups. Right? It's like, you ever make a sandwich of Pop-Tarts? I used to. You know, I put peanut butter between 2 Pop-Tarts. Part of the reason why I weighed like, you know, 300 pounds in 8th grade. But anyways, I lost it. I lost it back then. And I got back up to 300 recently. But like I said, GBH-2000 helped me get it back down. But anyways, I was talking about Pop-Tart sandwiches. Why was I talking about Pop-Tart sandwiches? Oh, yes, because I have 2 pop-ups right here. This one wants me to sign up for the mailing list, which is good. I mean, go to G-Shock and sign up for the mailing list. I mean, I'll have a link below for G-Shock. Let me X out of this one. And then this is the limited edition contest regarding this NASA watch, the GW6900 NASA 24-1. And it says you have to click to enter. You have to log in with your Casio ID. I have that. Like I said, I have a Casio ID. I am G-Shock points rich. And agree to the terms and conditions. All right? We're always agreeing the terms and conditions. And in the course of this video, we talked about these new watches, the GA-010 and the GD-010, are not watches that you need terms of service to use. Right? You don't need an email address to use. But apparently, you need an email address to get this NASA watch. Only selected winners will be charged. If you are not selected, the pre-authorization will drop within 7 days. Winners will receive an email and their watch automatically be shipped out. All right, so you want the NASA watch? It's like winning the lottery. Oh boy. And it comes in a nice box. It's like green. Oh, and there's like a G-Shock designer wearing the NASA watch. Oh, check out this Casio calculator. Oh, I'd love to get that. That's amazing. Oh, yeah. You know, where I'm from, historically, the Hewlett-Packard calculators were the big ones, like at MIT. But when I was in high school, there was a Texas Instrument calculators. But still, that Casio Mini, that looks like a really cool calculator. All right, let me X out of that. Oh, again, another pop-up. Before you go, shop sale, shop outlet. In this GMW B5000 TCC1 is on sale, 40% off. I guess this one didn't sell that well. Guys were not interested in an $1,800 square G-Shock watch, even though it was titanium, so you can get it for cheap. All right, let me X out of that. So much stuff popping up, right? On my end, I'm not adding any pop-ups to the Beater Watch blog. All right, this is like good old-fashioned late '90s, early 2000s blogging in action, and I chose Blogger because not only is it old and outdated like me, but like it's just there, right? It's been there forever. Like it says about me. I click on about me, and it says on Blogger since December 2010. But that's when I started like this account from which I'm blogging. I've been on Blogger for to search and try and find one of my old blogs. Think about what I had on it. Maybe I could find it again. I'm gonna type Cocoa Crisp Chest Pocket. See if there's anything about that. Oh no, it only searches this blog. All right. Well, anyways, the Blogger, like I've had blogs before in the past. I know a lot of you guys used to subscribe to them. My most popular blog post ever was "Windmills Cause Earthquakes." You guys remember that one? I think that was on Feeding Jimmy. But it's so much work to set up a blog, and then like, oh, get WordPress. It makes it so easy. No, it's not. It's a part-time job just doing all the behind-the-scenes stuff for a blog if you want it, on your own domain. And that type of stuff is like a huge headache and takes me forever. Blogger was already there, and I was like thinking, is it a good idea though? Is it a good idea to use Blogger? And I started searching around the web, and I couldn't get a good answer. So I asked Gemini, which is Google's AI, if it was a good idea. And he said it was, He said that for the same things that I suspected, because Blogger's tied into Google YouTube, it's easy to, there's like a natural kind of like synergy between the two. And I asked, I was like, is there synergy between the two of them? And the Gemini AI said yes. All right. And I don't know if the AI just tells you what you want to hear, because it's very agreeable. Sometimes I've challenged it on certain points and it's like totally turtled and gone the opposite direction. So that's kind of weird. But whenever the Gemini AI gave me any factual information, I was like, all right, buddy, you got to back this up. What are some links? And sometimes it gave me links, and sometimes it said it wasn't allowed to give me links. So it's like the information on it is like very unreliable, And but what I wanted to know is if there was like, if since it's owned by Google, does it kind of give you an edge, you know? And Gemini AI thought yes. It told me that Blogger being a Google product would give me an edge in terms of ranking and the tie-in with YouTube. But Gemini AI, as well as a lot of other actual websites, said, you're in the long run you're better off going with like a regular blog that you own on WordPress. But I was like, I really don't want to do that. I want to throw away a blog that I don't even care about. I just want it's kind of cathartic. I just want to type about beater watches, about my G-Shocks. I want to go off topic and on rants and make content that isn't even about the central premise of the site. And so you can expect a lot of that. And I do show for Jesus right at the bottom of the Beater Watch blog. It says, Jesus is Lord. Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through me. And that's John 14:6. So I have it right there. I believe it's on every page. So if you do want to check out my blog, it is jimkinkade.blogspot.com. And so what I'm planning on doing is kind of like, typing blog posts about G-Shocks, and having that be kind of rough drafts for videos, or vice versa. Have the videos be rough drafts for blog posts. Okay, so that each time it's a little bit more refined. All right, and so I want to share information and some of my experience with each one of these watches, like rather than sometimes I'm not always able to even make a YouTube short. Either it's like too loud or too dark, or for some reason. Well, I can always just kind of bang out a little post, type it out, and put it onto the blog, right? And if it's like a good subject material, maybe revisit that another time and make a video about that same subject. So I can go a little bit more in depth on a blog than even on a vlog like this one. So that's it. I am excited for the GD-010, and I'm excited to see the GA-010. I'm Jim Kinkade. Thanks for watching.